Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Thiago and today we'll walk through how to get your GitHub repositories up and running in your Microsoft Fabric Workspace. We'll also see how to generate your personal access token. But before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now it's the perfect time. Hit that subscription button and stay up to date. Let's get started. Let's dive into setting up your GitHub repository. The first step is to create a repository if you haven't already. For this demo, I've prepared an empty repository to work with. Next, you will need to create a personal access token, or PAT, which is essential for security interactions with your repositories. To do that, head over to your GitHub settings. On the right-hand menu, you will find the Developer Settings options. Click on that, and you will see the Personal Access Token menu. Now, there are two ways to create a PAT. The first is using the Classic mode. While this method works, it grants access to all your repositories, which may not always be ideal. If you choose this method, make sure to select all repo permissions to ensure everything works smoothly. Then, scroll down and generate your token. But here's the thing. I prefer the new fine-grained token method, which offers more control and flexibility. So, let's go with that. Start by giving your token a name, anything that helps you identify it later. You can also set an expiration date for added security. Here is where it gets interesting. You can choose to grant permission to only your current public repositories, all repositories including future ones, or my favorite option, select just the repositories you want. For this example, I will choose only the specific repository I created. When it comes to permissions, you only need to configure content to have both read and write access. Once that's done, go ahead and generate your token. And here is an important tip. It is the only time you'll be able to see your token. So make sure you copy it and store it somewhere safe. That's it. We are all set with token in GitHub. Now, let's head over to Fabric and set up our Git integration. Now, in the workspace, let's configure the Git integration using GitHub. Go to Workspace Settings on the top right corner of the page, and then click on Git integration. We will use GitHub Provider. The first thing is to add an account. Let's do it. Give a name for this connection, and as usual, use a meaningful name. Then, here is where you will use the path that we've just created. Get the path and paste it here. Right now, the URL isn't required, but we will need it down the line. I will go ahead and add it now. By clicking Add, it will create a connection to the GitHub repository, and I can connect now. So, as you can see, the repository URL is filled with the one I used before. If I hadn't filled it during the initial connection setup, I would need to do it now. I also have the option to either select an existing branch or create a new one. In my case, I will create a new one. I will give it a name and choose the main branch as a source for the new one. Now, we have everything ready and set up. Let's click on Connect and Sync button. I will now create some items to start syncing with my repo. First one will be an empty notebook. As we can see, there is a Git status as uncommitted. The second item is a Lakehouse. Then, I will update the notebook to contain a command and it will be attached to a new Lakehouse. Back to the workspace, we can now see two items uncommitted. When I click on the source control button, we can see information about the current branch. Any changes? In this case, there are two, or any updates. I will select all the changes and will commit it. If you want, you can also undo the changes and revert the item to a previous state. After committing it, we can see that those items are now synchronized with the GitHub repository. So, let's see it on GitHub. Heading back to GitHub, we will note a message indicating that the dev branch has new commits. Let's take a closer look. In the dev branch, we will find two folders, one for the Lakehouse and another for the notebook. Fabric items are clearly identifiable within a repository, make it easy to navigate. Let's explore how these files are stored inside each folder. We'll start with the notebook folder, where the notebook is saved as a py file. These are plain text files, which makes them easy to handle in Git because it provides clear diffs that nicely display any code changes. Next, let's check the Lakehouse folder. Inside, we will find two files. The metadata JSON file is empty right now because I haven't added any metadata yet. After all, I just created the Lakehouse. However, the platform file contains essential information about the Fabric item, including its name and a logical ID. Each Fabric item has its own format, making it easier to manage and organize. Now, let's say we finished our work and we are ready to merge those changes into the main branch. We will do this by creating a pull request from the dev branch. I will walk you through the basic steps, but keep in mind that GitHub offers a rich set of features for collaboration that go beyond the scope of this video. Click on the Compare and Pull Request button. When creating a pull request on GitHub, we need to specify two branches: the base branch, in my case, main, and the compare branch, which is our dev branch. We can also add a description of the changes we've made. This helps others understand what has been updated. But for this example, I will create the pull request without adding a description. Once the pull request is created, GitHub automatically runs validations to check for any conflicts. In my case, there are no conflicts, so I can merge the PR into the main branch. Since my GitHub account is associated with multiple email addresses, I will need to choose the one I want to use and confirm it. And just like that, it's done. Let's check our main branch. And as you can see, both the Lakehouse and the notebook items are now successfully merged into the main branch. We've seen a lot, but in summary, setting up a GitHub repository and integrating it with Microsoft Fabric is a straightforward process. By following these steps, creating a repository, setting up a personal access token, configuring Git integration, and managing your branches, you've established a strong foundation for version control and collaboration. Remember, the power of GitHub lies in its ability to keep your work organized, track changes, and simplify collaboration. So, go ahead, sync your changes, and keep pushing your projects forward. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment, and share. See you!